Okay. How's everybody doing? This is the Rich Life Show. In case you didn't know, I'm the one and only Rich, and I'm live. I'm broadcasting from the ATL area. And if this is your first time, I want to welcome you. Um, on Tuesdays, I like to talk about some of the topics that be running across my mind. And we've had some pretty good topics that come across the show. And this one I thought was very clear and dear to my heart, so I wanted to kind of address it in order to really dig into it. It requires you to be a little bit transparent, honest, all that good stuff. So for you that who have never been here before, I'm Rich. This is the Rich Live Show. It is part of a MSC network. I am the CEO, owner of the network. There's several other personalities that are on here. We have DJ Red, who plays music tomorrow from 8 p.m. until he lets you guys dictate how much partying that he does with you guys. Phenomenal DJ. That's where I spend my time. And also Thursday, we have young lady, beautiful MJ. Uh, Melissa Jane. She does a wonderful show here on Thursdays, and I'm back here on Saturdays and Tuesdays. So we talk about some good stuff, but not only that, we got some great entertainment. If you guys missed Saturday, man, we had a great post Thanksgiving jam session right here, and man, I showed out, and y'all showed out with me. So I'm gonna give y'all a second to get in the chat room, and I'm gonna start a conversation. I wanted to be interactive. Hello, Evelyn. Hello, Ronnie. Uh, is that Maria? Maria B? How you doing, Maria? Welcome, and hello to you, Ronnie. So I want to give you guys an opportunity to get in the chat room so I can get started. I see a bunch of y'all logged on, and I don't want to start and nobody miss this good information. But while people are getting logged in, for the people that found that the topic was kind of catchy. Let me put it back on the screen. If you thought it was catchy, is my self-doubt causing dysfunction? Yes, it's a question we never ask ourselves. This is true. Are you creating doubt unnecessarily, right? Why is doubt so important? Because doubt, in my opinion, plays a major role in indecision. And there's some things I want to talk about as it relates to doubt. Let me see who else is chatting in. So get on the chat room. Go ahead and share the link if you care. Share. We want to have an interactive conversation, and I want to put some stuff on the screen so we can discuss it and be transparent and honest. I ain't trying to fix nobody, and I'm not saying that the people that are listening, I'm not saying you guys have this issue or problem. I just know at some point we all face these type of scenarios. So, let's talk about it. So, hold on one second. Okay. You guys hear me okay? Let me turn the volume up a little bit. Can you hear me? All right, what about now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Somebody said I need to turn the volume up, okay? All right, there we go. I'm sure you can hear me now. Is that better, Ronnie? All right, thanks. All right, so I want to talk about self-doubt, right? So what does self-doubt mean to me? And I'm not trying to teach or anything like that. I'm just sharing my own life experiences, and I have a whole bunch of friends that we kind of go back and forth and float ideas off one another. And when we talk about life and how it changes and how it evolves over a period of years, you look back and say, okay, what you could have did, what you should have did, all these things, and why didn't you do these things? And a lot of times it's because we we doubt ourselves a lot. We really do. And self doubt is really it's one of those things that we we take for granted what it does and what it causes. It causes so many other effects. It really does. And what happens is self doubt in my definition is basically it's an insecurity. It's a fear. It's a combination and a whole conglomerate of things that pretty much talk you out of doing something that you really value. And the reason you thought about doing it in the beginning, because it was a gift, it was something that was given to you, it was a thought, it was an innovation situation, um, or it was a dream or something you thought of for a long time, and the doubt prevented you from getting to the point where you thought you should be. We just having a conversation. I'm not a doctor. I'm not or a mental, what you call it, a psychologist or psychiatrist or whatever you call it. No, we just talk. I'm talking about my own experiences. Like I know that self doubt prevents us from moving forward in life in the direction that we want to go. And how does that cause dysfunction? Well, it causes dysfunction because when you have self doubt, you start settling. You start settling for what makes you comfortable. And believe it or not, the self doubt puts you in an area, in an arena that in your comfort zone, you may make somebody else feel uncomfortable. I'm going to say that again. Self doubt will cause you to stay in a comfort zone, something that you know you can do, not something that you know um, you should be doing, or whatever the case is. Once you get in that area of self doubt, then you end up going somewhere where you may make others uncomfortable because you have no business in that area. I give you a prime example. If you're on a job or you live in a community or you have a certain situation, whether it's at your church, your job, your community, whatever the case is, or the people that are surrounding you, um, and you always feel like they can do things better, or I would just do this, or why don't they just do that? Why don't they? Well, self doubt is what let you or allowed you sometimes to be in that comfort zone that makes everybody else uncomfortable because you probably overachieving in that particular area, but because you doubting on the other side what you can do or what you should be doing, you getting on these people nerves over here because you've outgrown the area where you are, but you chose to continue to doubt where you should be. And self doubt is self imposed, right? You're not born with doubt. Doubt is a learned um, behavior. Dewana, that's a good thing. How you doing, Dewana? That's a good thing. She said it's like a cancer. Actually, when I put up the title the first time, it said is I changed it because I thought it was a little dark language. I changed it. Is my self doubt causing dysfunction? Well, the original title was is self doubt a disease? That was my original. That was my original concept. Is self doubt a disease? And the reason I came up with that concept is because it's one of those things where like in mental illness, when you hear that word, it's just such a dark word to hear. We've stigmatized it with so much negativity that no one wants to address it. But I think self doubt falls up under the whole anxiety, um, insecurities, self esteem. All those areas fall in self doubt. And I read somewhere where self doubt eventually causes depression. And what happens with that is they say it's a derivative from at some point either being told you were not enough or led to believe you were not enough, or maybe embarrassed or not supported enough. So you start telling yourself, you can't. Self doubt, right? So let me give you my own personal experience because I like to speak from experience. I got a ton of them, but I'm gonna go back to my high school years, right? So I never forget in the ninth grade. In the ninth grade, Um, I was probably about 6 feet tall. So that's tall for a ninth grader, right? I was about 6 feet tall. And the coach asked this guy I looked up to. He he knew all about basketball and stuff, but I think he was a senior, and I don't know if he played basketball. But the coach asked him like, "Hey, what's up with young man right there? We need him on the team. He's got good height. He look like he's in good shape." So he told the guy immediately, "Nah, you don't want him. He can't. He can't play that good." And he was just basically giving the coach his perception of me based on the pickup games that we played, which I goofed off most of the time in the neighborhood. Okay, what does that have to do with self doubt? In lieu of me not doubting myself, knowing my abilities, I just let him speak on my behalf, and I never even went out for the basketball team. So years go by. I never played basketball my whole high school year. So my sophomore year, I'm 6'1". Junior year, I'm 6'2". Senior year, I'm 6'3". And I'm like, man, I should have really did this basketball thing. Long story short, graduated, did the whole thing, and then I ended up getting into law enforcement. When I got into law enforcement, basketball, I was asking about basketball for the police Olympics. At this time, I got a lot more courage in myself. So I didn't even doubt myself. I just say, oh, yeah, I'll do it. And they were looking at me like, dude, you you know you could have probably played college ball with no problem. You're really good. And the reason I think back, like, why didn't I play high school ball? Because the self doubt that someone instilled in me just carried throughout my whole high school years. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. At the end of the day, we can play that game, but at the end of the day, that's a prime example of realistic self doubt. How it works like a cancer, and it spreads. And then sometimes when you doubt yourself, if you have siblings or children, you can end up passing that same cancer or disease on to somebody else, because self doubt is a derivative from fear. It's a derivative from non-belief, and it's all fictitious. Like, you have no reason to doubt your abilities, but for some reason, the front cortex of your brain tells you these are not going to bring happy endorphins. So what do? It's easier to talk yourself out of stuff than to talk yourself into stuff, right? Because I was telling somebody the other day, your brain teaches your mind to not do anything that's going to disrupt normalcy. I'm gonna say that again. Your brain tells your mind and your body not to do anything that disrupts what feels normal to you. Okay, so what happens is that you follow what's comfortable. Sometimes you have to tell yourself to be quiet. Sometimes you have to say to yourself, shut up. Because normally when yourself start talking to yourself, it starts saying, oh, what you're gonna do, what you're gonna do. Oh, no, we're not used to this. We're not used to this. And then you talk yourself out of it. And you don't even know if you can succeed at it because you didn't shoot your best shot. It's one of those things like, how do you know, how do you genuinely know what failure looks like if you never put yourself in a situation to even be graded or judged or, critiqued? What if it worked out? So how does that affect my life? When I stopped doubting myself, and I got several scenarios on coulda, woulda, shoulda, how self doubt told me not to just go with the flow, just do what everybody else is doing. So how did I get out of it? We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But you guys, I want this to be interactive, right? So hit me up in the chat room. For you that haven't logged in, you just hit the bar where it says join. Click here to join conversations in the little white area by the green. Jump on in there. I don't even need your email. Just put your name, and we'll go from there. Hi, Yvette. Welcome, Yvette. Finally got you in the chat room. Lasagna Baker, how you doing? So anyway, thanks for that. Wow, could it be pro ball? But now, I'm a personality and I'm helping people. So I wrote some notes. So this is last minute notes so that I won't veer off too much. These are some indicators of self doubt. Like for example, you tell yourself the story that gives you an alibi, right? So self doubt. People that have self doubt, they live in alibis. Alibis are the obvious. Like there's always a reason to not. So we live in that area, and we stay tuned in to why we should not do it, right? And that's the recipe for depression. It's the recipe for unhappiness because in life you're gonna go through stuff anyway. Life's gonna happen. There are gonna be losses. There are gonna be highs and lows, and you're gonna bump your head. You're gonna get your feelings hurt. It's gonna happen anyway. So if it's gonna happen anyway, why don't you err on the other side of doing what your heart wants to do anyway? Because you're gonna go through highs and lows, ups and downs anyway. So why not take that risk on the side of not doubting yourself, than living in self doubt and still go through the same trials and tribulations of everybody else? You know, um, another thing is it's where we store all of the data. So basically, your mind is storing um, doubt. And what happens with the doubt is like a computer. It builds up, it builds up, it builds up. And not only do you start doubting what you know you might be capable of doing, you start doubting others around you. And it becomes viral um, in every category of your life because self doubt is like filled with comfort. It's filled with growth stagnation. So how do you get through that? We'll talk about that later. I'm just going through all the things the things that this is Rich Live, identify as self doubt. Feeling discouragement when you know that you should be doing something. Something came to your mind. You thought about something. You wanted to do it. You didn't go through with it. You start feeling discouraged. Sometimes it's because of the people that you surround yourself with. Sometimes somebody says something. Oh, you'll never get rich off of that. Ain't nobody doing it. Ain't nobody into that. And all these things, when you store this data, you start doubting yourself. With no evidence at all, whether or not you could do it, you start talking yourself completely out the picture. Not a good move. Not a good move. But we'll get into some things that we can do. We talked about being discouraged. Being discouraged is also self-induced, right? Everything that I'm talking about is self-induced, right? So it's not like you were born with this thing. You were not injected with doubt. That's something you self-imposed, right? For whatever reason, um, you you taught yourself to believe or err on the side of this type of caution of doubting than actually doing. You know, like I got a lot of people on here that pray a lot. I be on some of y'all Facebook pages and y'all be praying and got the quote for the day and all of that, talking about what God will do. Okay. Well, if he would do that for you, then why won't you do it for you? Help him. Meet him halfway. Like you can't be wanting something and doubting the ability to get to what you want. There's a process in everything that you do. So I don't want to just stick on the word doubt, but doubt leads to dysfunction. Doubt leads to more insecurity. Most doubt come from other people or other situations. So it's just something that we should think about. How you doing, Mr. Zoe, Valencia, and everybody? Y'all come on in here and talk to me. Also, doubt, like you said, Ronnie, self-suppression. That's a form we talked about self-suppression a couple of weeks ago, but self-suppression is part of this series that I'm talking about, which is doubt. Doubt is basically it's a suppressor. Like so you doubt yourself, that's you suppressing any ideology that you could do something. I don't care how old you are, Like I find that the elderly community will doubt that they can do what some of the younger folks do. Like you can walk, you can exercise, you can travel, you can do whatever it is that you want to do within reason, but the doubt, you just automatically settle into that doubt. Younger people, um, you automatically start doubting things that you have no evidence and no reason to doubt things or yourself. My theory is, what's the worst that can happen, right? What's the worst that can happen? Those are the things I lead by. What's the worst that can happen? If it's not going to take me out, then the next thing is I always tell myself to start my sentences off with all I got to do, because in my brain, when I say all I got to do, it minimizes the large picture, which is getting rid of the fear. Like, so all I got to do is like if you don't know how to swim, all I got to do is jump in the lower end. So you start doing that. You start those exercises. Um, Ask as many questions as you want to, as the answers are going to be either in the chat. You probably already know the answer. Matter of fact, how you doing, Miss Jenkins? Is it anyone that's willing to be transparent and honest enough? Type in the chat room. Type the word yes if you've ever had a situation where you talked yourself out of something because of self-doubt. Not that someone else doubted you, but you talked yourself out of a situation because of self-doubt. Put yes in the chat room. I want to see how many people are willing to be honest. If you ever self-doubted yourself, put yes in the chat room. All right. So while I'm waiting on that, we take a few seconds. Don't be shy. Ask questions. I'm transparent. I'm gonna tell you about my stories, the ones that I can think of. But we, you're always gonna go through the self doubt, and it never really goes away. It's up to you how to counter the self doubt, and that's how you deal with it. And like I said, we'll talk about that a little later. But one of the things that it causes is you not to believe in yourself as a whole. So you might doubt yourself on one or two different things, self-doubt, and then that could lead to not believing in yourself, which ultimately will lead to low self-esteem. These are all things that are like a conglomerate of a recipe that all stick together that eventually will probably lead to some level of depression, which is a mental illness. So where it starts off small, where you're doubting yourself, if you continue to do that and not get the things out of life that you feel like you want to achieve, eventually you start looking at the life that you want to have and looking at the current life, the situation that you do have, which will lead to some level of depression. So at some point, we all go through all of these. The question is how we respond to it. It also causes uncertainty, right? When you doubt yourself. A lot of times we look at other people and how they perform and how they handle their stuff, and hey, how you doing, Mr. Brody? Welcome, Brody, my main man. Sharon, how you doing? All right, Yvette. Let's see. I want some questions to come in here because I really want to have an honest conversation. This conversation can only work if we're transparent. If we're transparent, that's the only way that this work. And I'm just glad that that you guys joined me and decided to jump in on this great topic. How you doing, Elizabeth? So we talked about uncertainty. When it comes to self doubt, a lot of times it's a way out of holding ourselves accountable, right? So anybody can relate to that. It's a way out of holding yourself accountable. What do you mean by that, Richard? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's a way out. There's no one on this chat line and no one that's listening that hasn't been in a situation where they knew they were capable, able, had everything it take to do what it is that they wanted to do and didn't do it because of uncertainty, like you were uncertain and you were looking for a way out. And let me tell you something. There's always, for one thing you want to do that is unique, there's always 10 to 15 reasons on why you should not do it. Where do you think we typically go? We go where it's saturated. The saturation of not do it, or don't do it because you can't afford it. Don't do it because it's full of heartache, pain. Don't do it because Joe and John did it and they didn't work out well. Don't do it because when you go over there, you fail. There's always like 10, 15 reasons to one reason why you should say yes. There's always way more reasons to say no than follow the reason to say yes. I give you an example. I use this actually, this platform. This platform, I had 20 reasons or more to not start this platform. You've never done it before. Don't know what you're doing. Ain't nobody gonna listen. There are far more famous people out there on the air. You don't have a Facebook following. These are all the reasons that people were telling me, and I was telling myself not to do it. This is real talk. I'm using this, and this is brand new. This whole platform is brand new. I've had probably close to 60,000 listeners. I started with 20 because I got rid of the self-doubt. This is real. This conversation here is real. I just didn't doubt it. I was like, I'm gonna follow all the steps. I'm just as capable as Tom Joyner, Ricky Smiley, Michael Baisden, any other national DJ or spokesperson. I got rid of the self-doubt. Now I'm being invited to go to different parts of the country, to speak, my business to perform all over the country. It wasn't that I was this extraordinary person. I just never doubted that it could be done. And it sounds so cliche, but it's those simple cliches that you can do anything that you want to do. It sounds so cheesy to me, but I follow it and it works. And it works. Wow. Okay. So I'm getting the yeses. Good. Remember, there's like a minute delay. And feel free to ask questions on how I dealt with some of the circumstances and issues. Thanks for being honest, Elizabeth, Ronnie, and Brody, and everybody else. Yep, that's a good point, Valencia. Valencia, you're at work. I appreciate you tuning in. Falls off the course of facing the person in the mirror. That's a good one. That is a good one. When you look in the mirror, you see two people. Let me put my face back up here. When you look in the mirror, you see two people. There's a person that you want to be or that you see yourself as, and that's the person that you wish you could be. There's a person that you are and the person that you wish you could be, basically. And what do I mean by that? If you visualize yourself as something or someone, whether it's in looks, performance, status, whatever it is, if you could see it, you could be it, but it sounds so cliche to say that. So the two people that you see in the mirror, there's one that paints an image of themselves, of what they would like to look like. And then the other person is the reality of who you are. And when you look at the reality of who you are, like it's like going to a ball or a festival when you ladies, and some men when you're cutting your hair, when you dress up really, really nice and you look good and you know you finna live your best life for this evening, that is the person that you built inside your head that you can actually be, but you only be that person temporarily. That's a mask that you put on, but it's of the real person that you are, but you take the mask off because you feel like you're in performance mode. And we let ourselves off the hook because we don't We don't want to keep the standards. We want the results, but we don't. A lot of times we don't want to keep the standards. So I'm talking to me, and I'm being transparent about me, um, and you have to be honest with yourself. And sometimes the truth hurts, but once you get past the truth, man, the growth spurt is amazing. Good question from Yvette, right? How did you get rid of manifesting doubt? How do you get rid of manifesting doubt is learning how to say yes more to you and no to others when it's necessary. That's how you get rid of manifesting the doubt. Say yes to you more. Take more risk on you. See, we'll gamble on things and we gamble on other people, other situations, right? We give somebody our money to invest in the stock market. We don't really even know how they live their lifestyle, but we trust them. We'll gamble with them. You put your money in the bank. You do this, you do that. You go to a restaurant. You're trusting everything else. You trust that the cook is cooking food that's in your best interest and is safe. You trust what the doctor tell you to do and the medication he tells you to take. You trust all these different things, but then you doubt what's in you. And what's in you comes from an authentic place. If it comes in you, that means it can come out of you. So the moral of the story is if it's put on your heart, it's because it can actually happen. But you'll go pay for somebody else to fulfill whatever it is that you would like when you can do it yourself because you doubt your abilities to do it. Like, try something. Like, go to a restaurant. When you taste the flavor, go home and replicate that. If you like cooking, don't doubt. We give credence to too many things in other people and not ourselves. So how you get rid of that self-doubt is you have to trust the process, but trust yourself. Because instinctively, I don't believe that the mind can create something that the body cannot do. I'm going to say that again. I don't believe that the mind can envision something that the body cannot do. So if it's a business, if it's traveling relationships, a closer relationship with your maker, whatever you believe in, whatever your faith is, whatever it is that you want to have, if you can envision yourself in that situation, you can be it. But I read somewhere, and I thought it was so profound when a person said this, which was, you will not go beyond where you see yourself. So if you believe you're poor, if you believe money is your issue, if you believe you're not healthy, if you believe you're never getting married, if you believe all these things, you're never going to get beyond what you believe in yourself. And I believe that's true. So have big beliefs, right? Because you think about that. That is so scientific to me. You set the standards. So if you don't believe that you can do or go or be, then you won't. That's a guarantee. You can put that in the bank. I'm telling you. I'll tell you a quick story. This is another one of my transparent stories. When I was working, and I was working for this agency. They should remain nameless. But I created some software, and they didn't hire me to do that. I was doing something else. I was an investigator, and I started saying how I was going to be courted by Microsoft. And this is a real true story. And everybody looked at me and laughed. And I saw myself in a Microsoft commercial holding my product. This is real. This is real. This is 2014, 2015. I envisioned that. So people stay away from me like, this dude is crazy. So I built the software and I said, hey, test this. And then that person moved it to that person, made it up to the mayor's office, the commissioner's office, the councilman, councilwoman, and next thing you know, I'm being called in a meeting and say, hey, this is so and so CEO of Microsoft. They wanted to meet you. And then I worked with them for 2 years. And we did a commercial. I wish I had it. I would show it to you. We did a Microsoft commercial. The moral of the story is it was nowhere on a vision board. It was nowhere that I thought it was even conceivable. My family thought I was crazy, but I did a Microsoft commercial with the executives of Microsoft. So the moral of the story is I never doubted that that was possible. If you doubt it's possible, I guarantee you it is. What you think you cannot do, you cannot do. That's just my whole thing. Elizabeth being honest, saying, yeah, she's that person. Ari, thanks for joining us. Hopefully I ain't missing nothing. Yeah, so hit me up in the chat room. Tell me what your thoughts are. Hey, Bull, how you doing? Doubt is a spiritual battle. Man, he's always preaching, bro. You ain't nothing but the truth. Bull guy in the chat room. Doubt is a spiritual battle first. Just like Satan suggested to Eve, doubt God. That is deep, brother. It's mentally and it's physical. How you doing, Bull, by the way? Shout out to you and your family. Thanks for joining. But it's a spiritual thing. We were talking about it earlier, Bull, how Dewana said doubt is like a cancer, and I believe it because one of the things that we don't do is we don't address those levels of diseases that are not necessarily physiological. They're emotional, they're mental. So the that part of it, the emotional issues and the mental issues and anxieties and the doubts and the self-esteem issues go on the back burner. But they cost us the most in life. Our self-esteem, doubt, fear, suppression, self-suppression, all these things eventually lead to physiological and physical issues and mental issues now that you can see. One thing about doubt that I didn't say in the beginning, I should have said, is that you can't see it. So the community or the world don't see your doubt. It's like it's invisible. It's invisible. So you don't know if somebody's walking around with it or not. You can shield it. Most of us walk around doubting ourselves, and you find yourself in situations, whether it's dealing with your boss, your agency, your relationships, what you want to do for yourself. You want to get fit. You want to do this. I want to open my own restaurant. I want to do this. But after hearing yourself do that, most of us suffer from some level of doubt that's caused by the anxiety of rejection or fear of failure, not being accepted. And I believe it's a spiritual thing, just like Brother Bull said. It is spiritual because we're not born with this. It's emotional. It's mental. Like, you're not born. Like, for example, if you have a child, when they were born, when they were young, when they first start walking, they get close to a step or a balcony. You'll say, hey, don't do that, you're going to fall. Or they're sitting on the edge of the couch. Hey, you don't do that, you're going to fall. But guess what? They didn't have any doubt that they were going to fall. Like, they didn't doubt themselves. You doubted that they were going to be safe, so you made them safe. And it's an extreme example, but it's how that the doubt is coupled with so many different things that we just shut everything down. And a lot of times we pass on doubt because we can't see the other side if you don't doubt. If you want to lose weight, you doubt you can do it, you won't do it. You know what I'm saying? So you're in control of the whole, in essence, you're in control of your future. When you get rid of doubt, and I don't want to just make it about doubt. We said doubt causes dysfunction. Um, but it's the catalyst, it's the foundation of a lot of our inner issues that we don't address. Um, if you get rid of it, um, you'll start to see your life change immediately. Most of the things that we doubt that we cannot do, we end up seeing in other people. You ever watched a television show, a commercial, or saw an ad, or went to a place and you felt like you could have done that? You didn't do it because you doubted your ability to do it. Doubt is so much more powerful than our ability to believe that we can actually do it. I'm going to say that again. Doubt is so much more powerful than the belief. And then, a lot of people pray and then walk away with doubt. Like that's really, really contradicting. You pray for something and then you walk out on doubt. Come on. What kind of results you expecting? Okay, Elizabeth has another good question. How do you deal with it? I'm not sure what that was, but how do you deal with it? Um, Remember, there's a minute delay, so I'm not sure which one you're talking about. How do you deal with it? But I'm going to assume, how do you deal with all the anxieties and everything that's built around the doubt is, I think, practice. Okay. I'm like Allen Iverson. Practice? You talking about practice, man? Yes, practice, right? So how do I beat my doubt? Is I practice. Practice what? Well, if I play things in my head and I practice to myself that I want to do something and I practice. So when it's time to actually perform what I was originally doubting, I am so proficient at it. I give you an example. Let's say you want a raise, or you want that position, or you want an opportunity, or you want to start a relationship, or you want to do something other than what you're already doing. How do you practice? Okay, well, if I'm going to be on an interview, I practice every answer to every possible question I can think of. If I want to start a conversation that I'm probably not going to be comfortable starting, but I need to have, I practice it. I practice it. I practice because the doubt will prevent me from actually having the conversation, but the practice will actually prepare me for the conversation. I might not hit all points, but I'll be more prepared than doubtful. So I walk in the room with confidence. I negotiate my own life because I don't have any doubt of my capabilities. You become a king at negotiating when you cancel doubt. Believe, and I'm not just trying to sound cliche-ish, right? Believe in what you know you do. Like my brother Bull, preach. He knows the word of God, right? He believes it and he knows it. So the moral of the story is, if you ask him something, he's going to have an answer for you. Why? Because he's been practicing the word. I practice what I do. Contrary to what you see on Saturdays and all that, I don't take anything for granted. If I got to go somewhere I've never been, I practice the route. It takes away the anxiety and the doubts. Like, you don't know where you're going. You've never been there. You doubt you're going to make it on time. You might not make it on time because you didn't play that ahead of time. So that's how I deal with beating the doubt. Is I play it even if it's in my head, if it's a scenario, if I got to bounce something off of somebody, if it's exercising. I tell you another story. I'm be totally transparent. Before I go to the gym, every now and then I fall off, right? I'm human just like y'all. I fall off, right? But I don't go back to the gym. No. I practice before I go back to the gym. In my home, I do push-ups, sit-ups. I lift the barbells. because I don't want to look like a weakling that's about to pass out because I haven't been to the gym in 6 months to a year. So I practice at home. So by the time I get in the gym, I look like I belong. It sounds so cliche, but if you just prepare yourself for any situation that doubt may show its evil head, that's how you beat it, by being prepared. Yeah, so you're right, Ariana. One in a harvest without seeds. That is true. That's I can expound on that. Yeah. So the moral of the story is you have to take accountability for where you are in life, this moment. Everybody, take 1 second. Just take 1 second. Go with me on this. Close your eyes for a few seconds. Think about where you are. I'm gonna give you a few seconds. Just think about where you are in life right now. Just hold it right there. Okay. Now you thought about where you are. The next thing you got to do is hold you responsible for being there, because you can blame somebody for what happened, but you can't blame that person for you staying in what happened. I'm going to say that again. You can blame a situation, circumstance, a person for where you are, but you cannot blame any of those things for you continually to be where you are. You are responsible where you are today. You are responsible for that. That's an investment that occurred prior to you being where you are. And that is so true to me. Appreciate Lasonia Brody. And don't forget that this takes practice, right? See, we fail at this and have to keep pushing. You're right, Brody. This is a long time bad habit we have to break. He's a thousand man, brother Brody, down in Coral Springs, bringing. I'm telling you, bringing the knowledge. I appreciate you, brother. This is true. It does take practice, and we fail. We fail at it. For you people that are afraid to fail, don't expect greatness. They go hand in hand. You know, it's like trying to get a tattoo without the needle. You got to get stuck. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to feel something, but you got to push through. You got to push through. Set realistic goals. That also helps eliminate doubt. Realistic goals, you know, and I'm not talking about the goal of hitting a lotto. You know, that's more the fantasy world, 1 in 1 million type deal. And I'm not saying stop playing. I'm saying once you play, continue to push, like my brother Brody say. Um, we have a lifelong time of bad habits, bad learned behaviors, and at the end of the day, you can correct those behaviors. You don't have to stay there. It's a process to get out. Like it took you a long time to become the person you are, and if you're not really comfortable with the person that you are, it took a while to get to where you are. Don't expect that on January 1st you're gonna be a different person. You're not gonna be a different person. I'm here to tell you. Stop lying. Stop lying to yourself. It's a process to get out, just like it was a process to get in. Just like you build up this wall of doubt, you got to chip it down. It ain't gonna just fall down, but you can get to it quicker by chipping away at it. Stronger chunks, bigger chunks, and that all starts with transparency. You got to embrace the fact that you doubted yourself or you doubted someone else. You know what I'm saying? Sharon, it's a good point you make. You have to believe that it's a journey, it's a process. I like that too, Ariana. Misplaced face. Ask me questions. I want to talk to you. Let's have some dialogue. And because Brody and Bull brought some wisdom to this conversation. I appreciate you, brothers. Yvette said, "Does everyone grapple with self-doubt once in a while in their lifetime?" Yes. Everyone. There's nobody listening that has never doubted something. Doubt is embedded into us. I don't know where it comes from, but it's the foundation of some level of insecurity, some point of rejection, some place we were told we were not good enough, we were not enough, we didn't have what it takes, and we build on that instead of countering that with belief. You counter doubt with belief. The moral of the story is to do nothing uh, is to expect the same type of results. I rather lose on the side of belief than to be suffering on the side of doubt, because doubt guarantees nothing. I'm saying it again. Doubt guarantees nothing. So when you get rid of the doubt, belief could get you the world. And so what if you fall short of getting the world? You know, what if you fall short of the ceiling? You got off the ground. Doubt is on the ground. It's on that level. So don't just take it out. Just take it out. You know what I'm saying? Don't even entertain the word doubt. So many nuggets of wisdom. So I'm basically saying to you guys, and I'm not trying to teach. I'm an advocate. I'm a student of my own conversation, right? I'm a student of my own conversation because I'm learning to push through things as well. Let's talk about, we talking about it's a way out, fear of succeeding. That's something that we take for granted, right? Fear of succeeding. We can talk about that a little bit, but fear of failing, we went over that. Excuses. Excuses is these things sound so cliche when you hear the word excuse, um, but we live in them all the time. If if um, if you look for an excuse, matter of fact, excuses you never have to look for. It's like a fruit on a tree that's plentiful. It's just everywhere. Fruits are everywhere of excuses. They're everywhere. So they're always there. Bear down and stop making excuses and know the definition of what an excuse is. An excuse is a way, it's a passage way to know that's why we can't. It gives you a shortcut of not accomplishing. It lets you off the hook. You know, do it. Whatever it is. I'm sure everybody that's listening got something at some point in their mind, at some point in their life, they got to a point where they doubted themselves. Everybody doubt themselves at some point, but it becomes horrible habits that it's a horrible habit that holds you back. You know, we use it in conversation like it's endearing. Did you so and so? No, I doubt that. Doubt is negative, man. One of the things that we do, and keep the questions coming before I close. I really want to keep this conversation going because it's so meaningful. Leading into the new year, don't go in there taking luggage that is going to be weighing you back into the same thing that you did all year. I'm going to say that again. Don't go into the new year expecting January 1st for a switch to turn on and you become this new person. That is okay to doubt because I'm guarantee you that no one turns into this new person, and we do it every year on January 1st. So take the word doubt out and just do. And if you're afraid, do it afraid, right, Sanjay? Do it afraid. I don't care what level you are. You know, the worst thing to hear, like from my elderly community, and what I mean by that is because I'm on the air on Saturdays. I play oldie goldies and new school and stuff like that. But you can see how, you know, as you get older, sometimes you just settle into the doubt of your ability to do anything. But I'm hearing people passing away at 95 people living to their 102. People are living longer now. So the moral of the story is like we don't know how much time we have on this earth. But if you live in doubt and you hypothetically, I got some 60-year-old people, late 50s, 70-year-old people listening. I got an 80-year-old lady listening. The moral of the story is, what if you live till you're 102? You going to live the next 15, 10 years, 12 years doubting? No. Do what you do. Do what you can. So at the end of the day, I hope these nuggets that I'm dropping is really, really helping you guys understand how powerful doubt could be and how negative it could be. So with that being said, like I'm gonna take a couple of more questions before I skedaddle, but hopefully these nuggets were really, really helpful, and I'm more than happy to share my experiences on um, how I doubted myself on every level because I think transparency is the way to success. You got to be, if you're not transparent with the world, be transparent with yourself. Um, and there was one in that slide that says giving value to people. And that's important. That's important. Sometimes we give too much value to people. So um, value yourself. Value yourself. Um, Ronnie says, carry new luggage into the new year, leave the old luggage. You're 100% right. Don't carry the luggage of doubt or what you cannot do into the new year. And just as I'm saying this, I believe some people are going to still do it and wait till January 1st. Change is a process. Getting rid of doubt, having left low self-esteem, um, you know, um, being scared, being fearful, all those things. It took a while to build it up, and it's going to take a little bit of time to change, but it's one day at a time. Um, Brody says, I think the self-doubt also leaves too much room for others to doubt you as well. Oh, Brody, man, you bringing some serious knowledge here. I'm gonna read that part again. I think that self-doubt also leaves too much room for others to doubt us as well. If you have self-doubt, people are less likely to support you in your goals. Wow. I think that's deep. Let's talk about that for a few seconds, if you don't mind. We teach people to doubt us. That is so true, Brother Brody. We teach people to doubt us. When I gave the example on how the young man told the coach that he can't play, um, my response taught him that it's okay to continue to doubt me. Instead of me rising above it, I fell into it. Like we teach people to doubt us. So if you can perform on a certain level and you don't, then you're not going to be the go-to person because you teach people how to treat you. And people will treat you the way you teach them. That is the most true statement that I probably ever will make is that you teach people how to treat you. I don't care where I go, I don't have issues with people because the way I carry myself and the way I conduct business and the way I talk and the way I speak, I, they don't get an opportunity to treat me other than the way that I present myself. Some people call it arrogance. I call it self-confidence. I'm going to teach you how to treat me, and if you do otherwise, then I'm going to correct it. But the moral of the story is if you never show people who you are, people will respect you exactly for what they believe you are. That was a good one, Brody. Yvette, can self-doubt lead into a mental illness? Absolutely. We covered that a little bit earlier. That's a good one. Can self-doubt lead to mental illness? Absolutely. 1,000% it can. Because what self-doubt does is put you on a playing field that you don't want to be on. It puts you in a place where you are unhappy and you're not living the life that you want to live. You're not doing the things that you want to do, which ultimately leads to anxiety because you're not happy and you self suppress. And now that anxiety leads to depression, and depression leads to other issues, hypertension, high blood pressure. There's so many other issues that this thing could lead to, or and it may have already taken some pathway in your life. Like, so we don't know exactly where we are because we may have been doubting ourselves since high school, and now you're in your 20s and your 30s. That doubt's been building up a whole lot of stress and anxiety in your life. So it can manifest itself into something that could be a health crisis. So whatever it is, you know, don't doubt yourself. Give yourself an opportunity. You bet on so many other things in life. Bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. Be careful what you allow in your life. That's important. Be careful who you surround yourself with. Some people know them as haters. A doubter is not necessarily a hater. A doubter on the outside of you is just someone that don't believe in you, and a lot of time it's based on what you present to them. I'm gonna say that again. A doubter and a hater is different. A doubter is someone that you probably on the outside have taught to believe, to disbelieve in your abilities because you taught that, you manifested that. And I give you an example. Someone says, "You're really good at this." Not really. No. You're beautiful. No, I'm okay. You're this. You should probably open this, or you probably should do this. You should probably lead this. You should probably think about doing these different things. You teach them to doubt you because you're saying in response, doubt me. And then you're disappointed that you don't get the support from these people because you taught them how to be. So, yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. Sanjay, if you don't believe, then you don't expect someone else to know your best, yourself best, right? That's a good one. If you don't believe in you, don't expect someone else uh, to know yourself best, that you should know yourself best. That's a good point, Sanjay. You're right, Ronnie. And we're gonna wrap up here, but this is a good point. Put in the comment section if put yes if you got some nuggets from this. Please put yes in the comment section because I want to make sure that the information I'm sharing with you guys is worthy of your time, and I appreciate you taking the time to log in. For everybody that logged on today, I really appreciate you guys supporting the network and what I do. We have great conversations each and every Tuesday at 7 o'clock. And don't forget, tune in tomorrow for DJ Red, an amazing time. Tomorrow at 8 p.m. And I'll be back on Saturday at 7 p.m. Ronnie says we have the ability to command our atmosphere. That's pretty deep. You have the ability to command how people treat you, and you set the stage on how you're going to be respected by how you present yourself. And if you doubt that people are going to reciprocate that, they will. So with that being said, I want you guys to put yes in the chat line and let me know that this has been helpful for you and to you. And let me know. Make sure you subscribe at the bottom of the page because I come back here all the time and I listen. I read all my messages and I reply to all my messages. Subscribe. If you go all the way down to the bottom of the page, there are also some previous videos of what we talked about. But I want to know what you guys want to talk about. What do you want me to bring to the table? Typically, I like to bring like a subject matter expert to talk about some of these things, but I didn't on this occasion because I'm the subject matter expert of doubt because I lived it, right? I lived it from this platform, starting it. I started out with doubt and then I turned it off and then voila, here I am. And because of this, I'm doing great things. And I want to share how I get to the point of the level of success that I'm achieving. And I'm a work in progress. But I can't get to where I need to go. Doubt is too heavy to carry. It's too heavy to carry. The pressures of success is too heavy to carry. I'm not afraid of fear. Fear is my friend. So I get rid of all that negative luggage. Like November should be when you start your new year. I'm gonna say that again. November should be when you start your new year. Why? Because by the time you make it to January 1st, you've already chipped away at so much. So much. So that's the advice I want to leave with you, that doubt uh, could lead to dysfunction, would ultimately could lead to some level of mental illness because of depression, and you doubted yourself so much that you never became the self that you saw yourself as, and you never achieved the things that you wanted to achieve, which makes you succumb to pressures of life, which is working for somebody you don't want to work with, being in a relationship you don't want to be in, living in a house, living in a community, being places you don't want to be because you spent so much time doubting the opportunity and don't even know if you would have failed because you doubted, 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 doubted. So I want to thank everybody who came on the platform. Thank you, Dewana, Evelyn, and everybody else, Ari. Um, Subscribe, leave me messages, let me know what topic you want to cover. You can actually come on the show. We'll do a Zoom. We'll bring you on the show. Brother Brody, I'm inviting you and Brother Bull to the show. Subscribe below. Brody, I would love to have you on. Brody is a good buddy of mine, and we used to bounce ideas off each other all the time, and we never doubted each other. We never doubted each other. I want to invite Sean J, and I want to invite you guys to the show, because maybe you got some ideas or something that we could talk about. We could share in our community, but that's my whole thing for the new year coming up, that I want to share and drop nuggets and knowledge with all of you guys. So I'm going to post this up a little bit later. Please, please, please share it. Please share it. Let me know what you think about it. And I am so happy to have you guys on. Until I see you guys, I want you to subscribe. I'll send you emails. I'll let you know when I'm going to be doing next. Don't forget, check back tomorrow on the website and hit the DJ Red link, 8 o'clock tomorrow. He plays some great Caribbean and great vibes and all that good stuff. And then I'll be back Saturday for some of the best. If you love like R&B, sometimes Caribbean music and old school, new school, classic stuff like that, I'm a totally different person on Saturdays, right, Ronnie? So I want to thank everybody for taking the time to tune in. Go ahead and register. I want to stay in touch with you. I want to know what you think about the show and how we could better share information with you and people in the community, because we want you to definitely be a part of these conversations. It's so important that we uplift each other and support each other, all right? So we're all about positive vibes. Until the next time, like I said, I'll be here each and every Tuesday, 7 o'clock, talking about things that matter, bringing nothing but free nuggets and information. I will see you guys next Tuesday. But if not, you can come back tomorrow at 8 and listen to DJ Red, or you can check me out, 7 o'clock sharp on Saturday. I'm telling you, it's a great time if you haven't. Love you guys. Until the next time, stop with the self-doubt. Stop doubting yourself. Surround yourself around people that believe in you, but you have to believe in yourself first. And with that, be safe. Love you. See you guys next week.